Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Chad Amond, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome to a special edition of Westmoreland Community Connections. The first half of today's show is a special edition of the COVID-19 situation that is happening throughout Westmoreland County. I'm Tony Michaels, Station Manager of WHJB. We're on the line today with Jennifer Miller, CEO of Westmoreland County Food Bank. Jen, what are some of the needs of the food bank at this time?
The needs right now, Tony, are enormous. We are looking at a lot of emergency boxes being requested. Our pantry distributions are proceeding as planned at this point. We are in need. We are seeing an influx of volunteers, which we need to be able to continue that to pre-pack these boxes. So volunteers are really, really important. What we're doing is we're pre-packing all of our monthly food boxes to go out to our food pantry locations. So people will just be able to either drive through or however they have it set up at each of the distribution sites. So that way we're limiting the contact with each other. So hopefully they'll be able to just have their trunk open, pull up, put the boxes in, shut their trunk, and they'll be able to go. So we're really hoping that works out that way in every site, but some of the sites are limited in terms of, how many people we are able to accommodate or how their site particularly is set up. So, it's a little dicey sometimes there. So we are doing everything possible to try to limit the person-to-person contact. The other thing is we are in need of gloves and hand sanitizer and wipes, Clorox wipes, things like that. So, and then of utmost importance right now is monetary support. We are seeing, the additional expenses of accrued overtime, which is something that we don't usually have, but because of the enormity of what we're doing here at the food bank, we have had to pay out some overtime. That's not something that we normally budget. We've also had to buy additional boxes because we don't normally pre-pack boxes, so we had to buy 18,000 boxes at the beginning of all this, and we're getting into purchasing another 18,000. Each one of those orders cost approximately $35,000 a piece.
Oh my.
So again, that's not really something that we have planned, needless to say. The extra added expenses of, just the safety equipment and so on, like I said, with the wipes and the disinfectant and so on and so forth, just to make sure that we're keeping our volunteers safe. We need people to sign up for any of the packings that we have. Now with the older high school students not being in school right now, they're able to come as long as they're 14 years of age or older. They should be accompanied by a parent or a guardian if possible. But we understand. If they can't, they can't. But we'll take people as long as they're able-bodied. To be able to stand at least for an hour and a half. We would really appreciate that.
If people want to make a monetary donation right now, Jen, how do they do that?
They could either send a check to our address at 100 Devonshire Drive, Delmont, PA 15626. Or they can go online at westmorelandfoodbank.org and they can make a monetary donation with their credit card right on our website.
I've been to Delmont many, many times, as you know, and I know most people have not, but the operation that you have there and the folks that you have working there and, of course, the people that volunteer, it is an amazing service that you provide to Westmoreland County.
Thank you, Tony. We have, I'm a little biased, but we have the most amazing staff. Nobody has missed a beat. Everybody is like, what can we do to help? What do we need to do next? And it has turned our operations upside down and inside out. And I could not be more proud of the staff that we have on board here at the food bank. When I say they're amazing, they are completely amazing.
Mm-hmm. And again, we're on the line with Jennifer Miller, CEO of Westmoreland County Food Bank. Jen, I heard about this Operation Fresh Express Distributions. Tell us about that.
The Fresh Express Distributions, many people are familiar with. It is an additional box of perishable food items that we receive from grocery stores and donations, such as produce, frozen items, and things of that nature. Those are conducted at alternate sites throughout the county on a weekly basis. We just started last week, 2 weeks ago, was our first one for the year. We have actually canceled those for the time being until everything settles down. And the reason why we have canceled those, Tony, is it's not because we're running out of food or anything like that. It's because those distributions are not set up to be a no-touch type of distribution. It's not set up to be a drive-through type of distribution. We cannot secure the safety of our consumers by allowing those distributions to go on. So we're concentrating that donated food and those perishable items in some of the emergency boxes that we're having to put together right now. People do not need to worry. All of the pantry sites are running as normal. If they are not, if times have changed or if locations are changed, that will always be on our social media page, on Facebook, on Instagram, all of them, and as well as our website. So, we encourage people to, check out our social media for updates and check out our website for updates.
And unfortunately with what's going on with this virus, there are, some folks may never get back to work. I've heard that through our news here, and some of the folks that we have talked to, they may never get back to work, or they may be laid off for a good while. So I think right now the importance of the Westmoreland County Food Bank takes on a whole different spectrum now.
It really does. We encourage people to check out our website to see, if they have no income coming in at this point in time, they are eligible for the assistance. And if they, God forbid, never go or aren't able to go back to work after all of this settles down, please check our website for income guidelines. Of course, that's what we're here for.
Let's give the contact information again. Now, your website, Jen, is
westmorelandfoodbank.org. O-R-G.
westmorelandfoodbank.org.
Yes.
O-R-G. And your phone number there, if they feel so inclined to call, is there?
Sure. We would encourage people to try to message us as much as possible,
okay.
Because, as you can possibly imagine, our phone lines are jammed.
Mm-hmm.
So they would probably be better to email us at admin@westmorelandfoodbank.org, or they can call 724-468-8660.
Any parting messages, Jen, that you would want our listeners to know?
We just want to thank the community for their support. We are overwhelmed by the fact that there are so many people that are coming to us and wanting to provide lunches and breakfasts and snacks for our staff, because they know that they are working so hard to make sure that the people of Westmoreland County are being fed. We are just completely overwhelmed by that. If anybody's willing to continue on with that service with a breakfast or a lunch or a snack for our staff, I would encourage them to email me at jennifer@westmorelandfoodbank.org, mm-hmm. and we can definitely set a time for them to be able to do that. The community of Westmoreland County is utterly amazing with what they have done for us, not just now, but always, and we really need their help now more than ever. This isn't something that any of us have ever experienced in our lifetime, let alone our careers. And, to say that we are, we have a plan and we're working our plan, but those plans change daily, and we really, truly appreciate the support not only of the community, but of people like you, Tony, and WHJB, and the Tribune Review, and so on. I mean, everybody has just been fantastic.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you, Jen. What an operation you have there, and it is for the good of our community. Jennifer Miller, CEO of Westmoreland County Food Bank. Jen, it's always a pleasure. I thank you for your time today. Hopefully next time we talk, we'll be talking in a little bit better time. How about it?
How about it? That sounds great, Tony.
We'll be right back after these messages.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
And now let's resume with our regular scheduled program.
Hello and welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce, Chad Amond. I'm happy to have on the show today Stephanie Ankeny and Jean Calabrace. Stephanie is the bylaws and policy and procedures for the business and professional women of Latrobe. Jean is the district director for BPW in the region. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us, Chad.
Give the listeners your background and your career and how you coordinate with BPW.
My background is that I'm retired from banking and I dabble now in crafts, a small business of crafts. What I do in BPW is I've come through the ranks from the local to the state and back to the district. So I'm district director and membership chair in the local.
Stephanie, give your background.
I am currently an administrative assistant, as well as I handle the social media for Lawn RX, which is a local lawn care company in Latrobe. As far as coming into the BPW, I found out about it from Jean, and first meeting, I signed up. In all reality, this group of women inspired me to get invested and learn more about it. So pretty much 6 months, 7 months into it, I decided to become the district secretary. And I also decided that I would take on the role of chair of the bylaws, policies, and procedures, which has opened my eyes as to how BPW started, what their goals are, and overall what they're doing for not only our local area, but for our state as well.
So Jean brought up she lives in Latrobe, and I live in Latrobe. I mean, I have 4 kids that go to Latrobe. And did you grow up in Latrobe?
No, actually, I'm a military brat. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so we moved up here when I was a teenager. So I'm not originally from here. My mom is, though, so we ended up here.
On another note, what is the mission for BPW?
Okay, so the mission for BPW is to achieve equity for all women in the workplace through advocacy, education, and information. As far as who or what Latrobe BPW is, we're an organization that has been in existence. This is our 90th year. And whether you are in business or need personal support, we are here, women helping women, in whatever areas that we can help you in.
Stephanie, give the listeners your perspective on the mission and the stuff that BPW does for women for business.
Really, it's a starting point for a lot of women, especially if they are a startup company. They don't know who to network to. They maybe hear of a friend who is part of the BPW, or they see it on Facebook or one of the social media entities, and they contact us. They ask a friend, because really at these meetings, it's you're speaking about your business, you're networking, you're helping each other. And whether you have a business or not, is women helping women. We're working to achieve, as our mission states, equity. We are working to achieve an equal footing with everybody. And if you don't know where to start, the BPW is the place to start. Even if you're just looking for bonding, if you're looking for friendship, this is the place to go.
Latrobe BPW has the most members in the Commonwealth. How many members do you have?
Currently, we have 107 members. We are the largest local in Pennsylvania. BPW-PA actually consists of the whole state of Pennsylvania, which is broken down into 11 districts. And our district is District 3. But out of all of those districts, and I believe it is 54 locals right now, we are the largest.
One of your members, Lisa Frederick, she owns Unity Printing, and she won the Athena Award in 2019 for the Chamber, and we were so proud of her.
As we are.
She works very hard, and Ashley is her daughter, right, and she is serving on the community college trustees, and she works very hard.
She works very hard because we've been trying to get her to the meeting, and she just can't make it. We meet the third Thursday of the month, and we meet from, our current year runs from July to June, and we don't have a regular meeting in July. We are currently meeting at the Christ Our Shepherd Center.
So who joins Latrobe BPW, and how do they join?
Well, any woman that is of 18 years and older, of course, and graduated from high school can join. And they can either come to the meeting with a friend. One of our members bring guests to the meeting. They can check out our Latrobe BPW Facebook page or our latrobebpw.org website. And the applications are on there, and they're able to get a lot of information off of those 2 sites. They can contact any of our members at any time. We're happy to talk to anyone.
So you can't join if you have a Y chromosome. So I can't join, right? Well, my wife and my daughters can join, right? Right? Is Latrobe BPW only a networking group, or you brought up before you can increase the business for ladies? So tell the listeners it's not only a networking group, but tell the listeners how you increase the ladies in our area.
Right. We do separate ourselves from being just a networking group. However, if you are looking to network, you have the capability of coming to the meetings where you're allowed to network your business or put on display some of your supplies from your business. You can also network through our Facebook page. Our newsletter comes out once a month, and you're able to put an ad in there. It's also included on many other Facebook pages, which is the district Facebook page. We put everything on there, and you have the capability of reaching out to the other members if permitted.
So when somebody joins Latrobe BPW, what do they expect, and what is the organization about?
I think the new members are rather surprised after they get in and see what we're really about. I think they first expect the networking process. But once they get into a member, and I'm sure Stephanie can answer those questions when she came to the first meeting, I'm going to let her take that.
Well, as far as a new member, everyone's different. But as far as expectations, I had no expectations. I arrived, and the first meeting I went to, there was a woman speaking, and what she was saying resonated with me. And I wasn't looking to necessarily network. I was just looking to be part of something outside of the home with my child and my husband, and going months in, and I found out all these wonderful things we do. It's more than networking. It's more than just looking for friendship. It really is women helping others. It doesn't, you not necessarily a woman. I mean, that's our goal, but really we are helping people in the community. And as a new member, in 2019, that spoke to me. As far as expectations, I guess it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for friendship, you're in the right spot. If you're looking to network, same thing. It's all of what you make it. But so far, my expectations have been completely exceeded.
Well, I always say so many people think the chamber only does ribbon cuttings and mixers, and we had 128 events last year. But, I mean, we work on the boring stuff, workforce and transportation and pushing for legislation for businesses that impact our community. How does the Latrobe BPW involve in our community?
I think we also passed on the fact that we do deal a lot with the legislation platform of women on the state level, too. So I do want to plug that in there. As far as the community, we support our local organizations such as the Salvation Army. We've done the bell ringing in the holiday time. Project Bundle Up. We have a different state project every year, depending on who the president is. This year, it is domestic violence. So we are supporting Blackburn's Center. And we also support math counts, and we have supported YWCA. And at the end of the year, our philanthropy part of BPW, we contribute to many different organizations in the Latrobe area.
You mentioned scholarships and philanthropy projects. Mm-hmm. How does BPW fund this?
Well, our major fundraiser, Spring Tea, we have over 300 women there. The tables are theme decorated with our member hostesses. Beautiful, beautiful site. You can see lots of pictures on our Facebook page and on our website. But that is where our major funding is. We do not continually have fundraising throughout the year. We'll have little tidbits that we raise money for the state project, but our major fundraiser for the scholarships is the Spring Tea. Can you give me a scholarship application? My oldest daughter is a senior and she's going to college. I will donate. How can students apply for the scholarships, and what is the deadline, and who is eligible? Any high school senior girl from the Latrobe Dairy School District, Central High if they have a Latrobe Dairy address, or from the EWCTC, Latrobe Dairy address, the scholarships are available to them. You can go on the Westmoreland Community Foundation website. Our scholarship is there, scholarship application, or they can pick them up at the offices, the guidance office at the school.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. I'm your host, Chad Amond, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. Our guest today is Stephanie Ankeny and Jean Calabrace, a volunteer for the BPW in Latrobe. What does BPW offer for the local women?
In achieving our mission, we have offer the individual development workshop. We have a mentoring program. We have leadership opportunities where they can gain leadership, whether in the local, the district, or the state level. And we have Equal Pay Day awareness.
What is Equal Pay Day?
Well, Equal Pay Day is a symbolic day dedicated to raising awareness of the gender pay gap. In the United States, this date symbolizes how far into the year women must work in order to earn what men earned in the previous year.
And it's a problem for the nation and for the local community. And I searched online, and in 1963, President Kennedy signed the Equal Pay Act, and it was to abolish wage disparity based on gender. And what does that mean exactly?
Because women earn less on average than men, they need to work longer to earn the same amount of pay men did the previous year. Unfortunately, it's something that still is in existence, and as of yet, nothing has been done to fix the situation.
So when does Equal Pay Day?
When does it occur? Well, since 1996, it's been celebrated. The date is different each year. This year, 2020, Equal Pay Day is March 31st.
So there is still a wage gap between male and female workers in the U.S.
Correct. Study after study has identified a persistent gender pay gap. Pay scale report found that women still only make 79 cents for each dollar men made in 2019. This figure is representative of the uncontrolled or raw gender pay gap, which looks at the median salary for all men and women regardless of job type or worker seniority.
What is the gender pay gap once all hardship factors such as experience, industry, and job level are accounted for?
Well, it's still not zero. Men and women with the same employment characteristics doing the similar jobs, women earn 98 cents for every dollar earned by an equivalent man. More or less, in other words, a woman is doing the same job as a man with the same exact qualifications as a man and is still paid 2% less. Unfortunately, this controlled wage gap has only shrunk by a real small amount, a minuscule amount of 0.008, so 0.8 cents since 2015. It's just not where it needs to be still.
Does wage gap apply to all women?
When we discuss the gender pay gap, it's important to remember that women are not one homogeneous group. Women of color face a different set of barriers in getting fair pay and advancing in the workplace compared to white women. Equal Pay Day for Latinas and Equal Pay Day for Black women are later in the calendar year because these minority groups typically earn less than white women. According to equalpayday.org, the typical Black woman must work until August to be paid what the typical white man was paid at the end of the previous December. In this case, August of 2019, they had to work to make what men made up until December of 2018. The typical Latina woman had to work until November of 2019 to be paid what a typical white man was paid at the end of December of 2018.
Does the controlled pay gap differ too?
Yes, the largest gap is between the earnings of black women and white men. Black women make 97 cents for every dollar a white man with the same qualification makes. The controlled gender pay gap for Hispanic and white women is more or less the same. Both groups earn roughly 98 cents for every dollar a white man with the same credentials earns. However, this does not mean that Hispanic and white women are necessarily treated equally in the workplace.
The Equal Pay Act that was signed by President Kennedy in 1963, why is the uncontrolled wage gap so large?
Because women are less likely to hold higher-level, high-paying jobs compared to men. Women also tend to move up the career ladder at a slower pace than men. We call this phenomenon the opportunity gap. However, I will say women are gaining lately in the ranks.
Explain that opportunity for pay gap.
Well, roughly an equal percentage of men and women start their careers as individual contributors, i.e. they do not manage people. At the start of their careers, typically between ages 20 to 29, 74% of men and 75% of women are in individual contributor roles. However, a much smaller proportion of women reach the manager, supervisor level, or higher by the middle of their career.
What contributes to the opportunity gap?
Well, women tend to spend more time out of the workforce, which impacts their career. A 2018 study on this issue found that when a worker leaves the workforce, they incur a wage penalty upon their return. Workers who took a break for 12 months or longer experienced an average wage penalty of 7.3% relative to a similar worker who did not take a break. Women take more breaks and longer breaks than men, primarily for taking care of children and aging family members, and they bear the brunt of this time off penalty.
Well, with 4 kids.
You understand?
Yeah, right. How do social factors impact women's careers and earnings?
Well, there are multiple reasons why women earn less than men and move up at a slower pace. For one, employers often make assumptions about what kinds of work different genders are best suited for, which funneling women into lower paid, lower level positions. Occupational segregation also contributes to the gender wage gap. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that women tend to be overrepresented in occupations such as healthcare, personal care and service, education, office and administrative support, and community and social services, typically lower-paying occupations. Meanwhile, men are overrepresented in higher-paying occupations like engineering and computer science. So I'm hoping that we're moving in the right direction on all of that.
What are some of the examples for the wage gap?
Well, the wage gap was highlighted in 2019 when the U.S. women's soccer team became vocal that U.S. soccer doesn't value female and male players equally. It's as straightforward as that. By their own calculations, U.S. female players make 38 cents for every dollar their male counterparts earn. As defender Becky Sauerbrunn summed up, the bottom line is simple. It is wrong for us to be paid and value less for our work because of our gender. But I wanted to go back. You had asked about why is there still a wage gap? Just so everyone understands, for a man by their mid-career, which is typically age range 30 to 44, 47% of men are managers or higher, while only 40% of women reach this level. By later in their careers, 45 plus years old, 57% of men are managers and higher, while only 41% of women have reached that level at that point in their lives.
How does Latrobe BPW contribute to closing the opportunity gap?
Well, the LBPW offers several scholarships and achievement awards to students in the Greater Latrobe and Derry area school districts. Recently, we added a vocational achievement award for female students pursuing a trade.
Why is it important to focus on the trades?
Well, for one to focus on a trade as opposed to going necessarily to college to become a doctor or a teacher, something along those lines, opportunities in trades are growing. There are not enough candidates to fill these positions. So traditionally, trades have been considered a more male career path. Mechanics, woodworking, things of that nature. Our scholarship is helping to change the thinking that trades are for anyone, male or female, who are interested. We have to stop stereotyping careers, which will help, hopefully, to close the wage and the opportunity gap.
Last question. If We're sitting here next year and celebrating the great thing it has been for Latrobe BPW. What would you achieve?
I believe that we would achieve the reaching out to more women and helping more women in whatever pursuits that they have, whether it be in their personal support, business support, or organization support, or community support. That is our goal. Our goal is not to just have numbers as members, but as to have members that we can help.
Stephanie?
Well, I certainly hope in a year, if we're here celebrating, that, above all else, we need to celebrate each other and continue that, and just to show people that we're here. We're here to listen, we're here to help, and above all else, we're just representatives of women. We're empowering women, and we hope that every year we continue to empower more women to do whatever their heart's desire is, no matter what.
Well, thanks for positively impacting Latrobe and all of Westmoreland County for BPW. Thanks for being on the show, Stephanie and Jean. LatrobeBPW.org. LatrobeBPW.org. You've been listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Join us next week, same time, same place, for another edition of Westmoreland Community Connections. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.